Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here. When talking about Nintendo games, I usually try to remain positive about them. While there are some games I don't like, it almost always feels like there's a lot of heart put into the games Nintendo makes. But sometimes there are some games where I just absolutely hate them. This is the case with Super Mario Party for the Nintendo Switch. This game is by far my least favorite in the series, and in today's video, we're going to look through the game and what went wrong with it. If you guys enjoyed the video, and you want to see more Nintendo content, be sure to like and subscribe. Anyways, let's begin. Before we get into this game's negatives, I think we should look at the positives. When we first get the game, the cover art really looks amazing. The bright colors are super nice, and it actually excites me to pop it into my Switch. The starting roster is also great, featuring classics and newcomers too. Not only that, but the unlockable characters encourage players to play all the game modes in the game. Unfortunately, I can only really think of these as positives. Other than that, there's really nothing else I like. So let's move on to why this game fails. Before we get into the game itself, there are some things that already bring it down. When this game was announced at E3, Nintendo confirmed that there would be an online play. Here we are now about a year later and there's almost no online play. This would have been really fun, especially right now when everybody's stuck at home. At first, I thought the lack of new content in the game was probably due to Nintendo focusing all of their time and energy to getting the online mode up. But now that there's almost no online, there's no excuse for this lack of content. Once we get into the game, we walk into the plaza and have a few modes. One of these is the new River Expedition game mode. This looks cool at first until you realize that it's basically just minigames and it doesn't add much else. Then we have Challenge Road. This one is pretty fun if you have nobody else to play with, but other than that, it's pretty useless. Moving on to the sound stage, this mode uses rhythm-based mechanics, and it's really not anything to write home about. The last mode in the game is Partner Party. This is pretty much the only fun mode. In this mode, players team up in pairs to share all of their winnings. The thing that makes this game mode so fun is the fact that we can move pretty much any way we want. This makes the bland maps significantly better. Speaking of the maps, let's talk about those. When we get to the party mode, the problems really start to show themselves. In addition to the one unlockable map, there are only 4 maps in this game. There's Whomp's Domino Ruins, King Bob-omb's Powder Keg Mine, Mega Fruit Paradise, and Kamek's Tantalizing Tower. I mean, if Mario Party DS has more maps than you, then you know you've got some problems. You would think that these maps would be pretty great considering there's almost none, but no, these maps are just bad. The reason for this? The linearity of every map. Every single map is made up of squares and nothing else. Whomp's Domino Ruins has one big square with squares at every corner. King Bob-omb's Powder Keg Mine has a square inside of a larger square. Mega Fruit Paradise has 4 squares connected to each other. And finally, Kamek's Tantalizing Tower is just 2 squares connected to each other. On top of this, there aren't any interesting ways to get around the map either. The player really doesn't get a choice in where they go, which just makes them feel trapped. They can either go through the whole map straightforwardly, or accidentally land on a pipe and get teleported farther along or closer to the star. Then there's the special event spaces. All of the special event spaces in this game are pretty similar to others we've seen, and they're really not very fun. Overall, the maps in this game essentially rip away what I loved about the maps in Mario Party. The player doesn't really get a choice in what happens, and it's not very fun. The next bad mechanic is dice blocks. In older Mario Party games, the dice blocks typically try to get the player farther faster. In this game, characters often roll zeros or lose coins or only gain coins from their roll. In a game that's supposed to be fast-paced and action-packed, this can be destructive. Having rolls that slow the player down also slows the whole game down, and it ruins the fun. Overall, these dice blocks should not have been made this way. Finally, we get to the meat and potatoes of the game, the minigames. The minigames are decent in this game. I say that because while I remember and love quite a few minigames in Mario Party DS, I can't remember a single minigame from Super Mario Party off the top of my head. The problem with the minigames isn't that they aren't fun, it's just that they aren't very original and aren't very memorable for me. I mean, this might be a little nitpicky, but that's just how I feel. Super Mario Party tried to take the series back to basics, but they made it way too basic. The online mode we were promised never came to fruition. The game modes aren't as fun, as they don't have a lot of new things to do. There are almost no maps in the game either, and all of them are linear and boring. The dice blocks slow down gameplay even further and make the maps even more unenjoyable. Even the minigames aren't memorable. Overall, this game could have used some work. Despite this, I really hope they can improve on the Mario Party franchise in the next installment and bring it back to its former glory. Let me know what you guys think of Super Mario Party in the comments below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here. I'm just gonna put this at the end of my Mario Party video, I think, because Nintendo's Nintendo Direct is only actually a mini direct, and there's not going to be any first party games announced. So I don't think I will be covering it in a separate video. So if you guys are looking for that, I apologize. But if something interesting happens, I'll be sure to put it on the channel. But that's all for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one.